Welcome to A Social Disease, a podcast for recapping and relating to Degrassi the Next Class. I'm your host, Jessie Mack.
And I'm Carly Jo Gear, also a host.
This show is not for kids, as we have frank discussions about sex, drugs, and violence. Listener discretion advised.
Welcome back, everybody. Today's episode, we have my friend Lyndon Stewart.
Hi.
He is a big Degrassi fan, and he's been wanting to be on the podcast for a while now, really chomping at the bit.
Oh, definitely.
But didn't want to do us wrong, so he wanted to do it real right. Why don't you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on. I am a first time participant, 3-day listener. But Carly asked me probably closer to the beginning of you all doing this podcast if I wanted to come on, because that's actually how we became friends. I don't know if you remember, but we first became like close because of Degrassi, because you mentioned it, and I was like, wait, I love it. And you're like, I own it. And I was like, wait, we need to do a marathon, which we never did.
Well, now's the time.
But when Carly asked me to come and be on the show, I was like, oh, cool. But I haven't watched in a long time, so I don't really know. And I've not watched. I haven't watched
Next Generation or anything in a while either.
I hadn't watched anything in a long time, so I was like, well, first I'm gonna rewatch all of Next Generation, and then I'll move on.
So that's why he's finally here, season 2, episode 8.
Exactly. But the funny part is that I got all the way up to like season 12, and when the seasons went from like 20 episodes to 40, I was like, I can't. So I was like, listen, I'm tapping out now. But I will move on and catch up with the relevant episodes. So now I'm caught up for our current season. So
nice. I'm really curious what was happening, like studio wise, that they were like, yo, let's do 45 fucking episodes per season. Like,
I think that I don't know. I think they maybe I think they moved. Was it because it was on Nickelodeon then? Was
oh, it was?
It moved
no,
to
I think you're right. It was
and
on
I
Nickelodeon.
think they were trying to do when Nickelodeon shows have like a new episode every day. Like I think they probably were doing that,
maybe.
Which is what changed it. I don't know. I didn't do research on that, but I was like, something happened, and I'm not a fan of this because like the quality of the storylines was not great to me.
Yeah.
It was a lot of rehashings and doing too much in some areas, so I was like, I can't.
But now we've got these nice concentrated episodes again. Degrassi concentrate in the freezer.
It's concentrated, and I think they also, and a cool thing is that the storylines sort of they evolve and persist over multiple episodes, whereas original Next Generation was flavor of the week, today, this person has this this thing, or Craig did Coke one time, now he's addicted today.
It
was always immediate. Every episode things went from 0 to 100 and were resolved, and then
Toby had an eating disorder for a week.
Exactly.
Can't be a wrestler.
And I'm just like, that's not really how this happens,
right? We're getting to see Zoe's arc of her coming out, because that's how it happens. It's not a week process.
Yeah, I mean Marco on Next Generation did his was fleshed out, that persisted over a while, but still,
nevertheless, he persisted. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and ask you our questions. So we'll start out with first being who were you in high school versus who you are now?
So in high school, I was an amalgam of a lot of things, but I was mostly a nerd. But I did, I ran track and cross country, so I had jock connections, so I was athletic and I did stuff like that. But I also I was into anime and comic books and really nerdy shit in video games. And so I did a lot of that. And then
I feel we consistently have nerds on this show.
Well, who the fuck watches Degrassi? Nerds.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And I think mostly because I was also for most of that time, well, I'll say this, I was closeted gay, I guess, for freshman year, and then sophomore year, I decided that I was no longer going to lie about it or like hide it, but I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to live my life, and if anybody wanted to ask me, I would tell them the truth, but nobody asked. So as like,
why does anybody care?
I think people just assumed in some cases, which was fine. But I think that's what drew me to the show, because I don't remember how I started watching Degrassi. My sister, I have an older sister, and she watched Degrassi, like, you know, Degrassi High. Like, she
the
watched
junior high and
yeah,
everything.
she watched like the original ones. And I don't know how she saw like Degrassi on, you know, the old like preview screens and stuff, and went to it. And she was telling me on it, she's like, oh yeah, these are like these characters, all these adults were on the show that I watched. I was like, oh, that's cool. So then I think because I saw like, oh, they have like gay storylines and like things on this, I'm like, I'm gonna watch this. So then I got into it, and I just love drama too. So I mean, you know, there was plenty.
What are you talking about? Your Wi-Fi, the Real House gays?
Exactly.
Love drama. Oh God. Okay, and then who are you today?
Well, today now I'm like a lot of those things still persist. Our microphone is propped up on comic books. And we're sitting in a room that has like Star Wars toys and Power Rangers and like Gundam wing models.
Lyndon's got swords.
And I do have swords. I have a lot of swords. All of my swords, which were purchased like in college and like high school. So, but they're still here because you know I don't own any guns. I don't know how to use a gun, but I can swing a sword.
I wouldn't be over here like, oh, Lyndon's got guns, like, but I am like, Lyndon's got swords.
I sure do.
What is that? That's what. And you have sais too, don't you?
Yes, I do. The sais are like, well, I'm not going to say where they are. They're in a secret place. So if somebody like comes for me, yeah, I put them away.
Oh, if somebody
I put them
comes
somewhere.
For you.
Mm-hmm. So they'll always be ready just in case.
Anybody at home who's not sure what a sai is, it's what which
Raphael
from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Raphael from Teenage Ninja Mutant from TNMT.
There you go. That's all we need. There we go.
Melina from Mortal Kombat, or Elektra from Marvel. So there's a lot of characters that use Psy.
And speaking of acronyms, Lyndon also via text was like, yeah, so I was listening to ASD and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what the fuck is ASD? And he goes, a social disease, your podcast? And I was like, oh, no clue what the fuck you were talking about. I was like, how dare you acronym my own show to me? And I'm like, huh?
Well, I listen to this political podcast called Pod Save America all the time, and they shorten it to PSA. So I was like, let me just do ASD, like, keep it simple to shorten this text.
Yeah, no, and then because before, I try often to Google things before I ask somebody so that I'm not, like, putting that emotional burden on them to explain something I should know. And when I Googled it, it was, like, a form of autism or something. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Well, yeah, no, that's not what I meant. I just meant this podcast. But so I'm still pretty nerdy, but I am... Like, I like to go out and party. Like, I go to the bars a lot. I drink a lot. You know, I like to go have fun. So it's like a weird combination. It's actually really hard because, like, if, like, for example, if you're trying to date, it's hard to find somebody where these things match up. Like, okay, well, like, people that are into the nerdy stuff are usually, like, they're like, oh, bars are too crowded and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, well, no, but I need to go out. But then tomorrow I want to see this like Marvel movie and like stay home and play video games. I need both. Sorry.
I fulfill his wrestling needs.
Yes.
But it's really all I can do for him.
That's the most awkward one of all of them. I'm honestly shocked how many people I have in my life that I can still watch wrestling with. Like, yeah, because it was a big thing back in
the 90s.
Yeah, in the 90s, like everybody was watching. It was so ingrained in pop culture. Like you had The Rock and Stone Cold on the cover of like TV Guide and shit when that was a thing.
Yeah, right.
And then,
my God, we went to so many wrestling events when I was a kid. When I was like 12 to 14, we would go.
Yeah.
We'd go to the big ones, but then we'd also go on their tours. They'd have like ones that they didn't record.
Oh,
the
house shows.
The house shows.
And we'd go to those because they were cheap. Oh, we went
Yeah.
so much. We brought half the school bus with us every time we
Oh,
go.
wow.
No, because like Jessie, like her mom was the one that liked to go to concerts and stuff. So like one time we rented a limo to go to Ozfest because there was just so many of us going. So it was like, I guess like really economically it makes sense to just rent a limo. We all pay a portion of it, like a bunch of fucking crazies. But
Too many kids
Yeah.
for the minivan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, and I was doing, like, back then, I was doing, like, backyard wrestling, and, like, we would do it during recess until some girl told on us, and so then they were like, no more wrestling.
do you want to shout out her name so that we can share
I don't
her?
remember who it was,
Damn.
honestly.
Wow.
I don't remember, or I would defame her right now, but,
That bitch.
so, yeah, so that's, like, that's a whole other thing. I'm pretty sure I, like, tanked a date yesterday by mentioning it, so...
See, okay, it's easier for girls because I, on the other hand, was like, I hung out with a dude this past Sunday night, and because it was Hell in a Cell, but I babysat, so like I didn't get to watch it from the beginning. So like I went over to his house and I was like, hey, can we like download the WWE app and I'll just log in so I can watch this pay-per-view? And he was like, are you serious right now? And I was like, I sure am. And I might have given you chlamydia. So we're really doubling down. Oh yeah, congrats to me. I'm 30, got my first STI.
Oh my God.
Hey, chlamydia
Who gave you a
club.
social disease?
I don't want to say. I'm gonna assume I have my assumptions of who gave me a social disease,
Yeah.
but I don't want to out him.
Did you
find
have to
it
call a bunch of people?
I had a lot of awkward text messages. I'll
Oh,
tell
man.
You didn't use the anonymous
No, I own
notification
my
website?
actions. I own my actions. And
Oh,
I told
no.
and luckily, I mean, I got tested like 6 months ago, so it was only like anybody that I slept with in the last 6 months, which was
Right.
still, I mean, that's a decent number. Am I right? Am I right? Hey.
I mean that goes hand in hand with today's today's episode.
Yes,
but
exactly.
yeah, if I had it, like sometimes when I've been in that situation, they'll like ask like, oh, how many
Your
people in the
body
last,
count?
and I'm just like,
That's why I write it down in my notes in my phone so that I can keep track.
no, I always just give the same number, which is like an average, like in my I just do an average in my head and give it to the doctor, which it's like sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more.
Oh no, I'm that bitch that pulls out my phone and counts names, and then I'm like, there you go. But yeah, no, I had a lot of awkward text conversations. One guy, unfortunately, that I knew was going to take it the worst. He's just a hypochondriac, and when I texted him, and we always used a condom, he was very safe. I had absolutely no inkling that he would have chlamydia. But when I told him, he was like, I'm shaking at work. I was like, oh my God.
You told him at work. Oh, God.
Yeah, well,
gosh.
I thought about it and I was like, I could wait until he's done with work, but I know that if I tell him after the time he can make a doctor's appointment, he's going to be, like, you know what I mean? I was like, I want to give him the window to make an appointment today if he
Yeah.
wants to do that. So that's why I told him when I was at work. And, like, I was like, you used a condom. It's probably fine. And he was like, but my fingers were inside of you. And I was like, oh, my God, that's not how this works. Like, but I'm like, I don't know why I'm
He's
having
got
to give you
chlamydia fingers.
yeah, watch out. It says that when you're, like, touching the rusty spoon, you get chlamydia fingers. Anyway.
That's like, and it's really interesting because that's the thing. Like, we're doing a lot better, I think, at least. I don't know about for straight people, but we're doing a lot better in the gay community with destigmatizing, like, HIV, like, being HIV positive and stuff, and getting people educated to know, like, how you can and cannot be infected and what steps and what things you can do. And a lot of people over now that we have PrEP, which people, if any listeners don't know what that is, it's pre-exposure prophylaxis. It's a pill that you take every day that basically, as long as you're on it, you are way less likely to contract HIV. There's been, like, out of, like, hundreds of thousands of cases, I think, like, don't quote me on this because I haven't done the full research, but there have been, like, maybe 2 cases in all of that of people who contracted it
Which is
while
amazing.
on it. And I don't know behind, like, what all the circumstances were behind those instances, but so a lot of people are less now afraid of people who have HIV, but still with STIs, there's still a lot of, like, you know, there's still a lot of stigma behind it, and people who are like, oh, like, you're gross, you're a queen if you did this, and like, oh, you slut, like, blah. And like it's funny because I don't know, and it probably just comes from the fact that like I've been around the block a few times. I've like had my run-ins with STIs, and like you go and you get a shot, and then it's gone in 10 days.
Yeah, I
and,
took
not
2
to like
pills and...
not to be like, see everybody, it's all fine. Like don't worry about anything. Like you can get a shot or anything.
Let's
for
raw
anything.
dog it, y'all. Let's
just
get
do
those
it.
dicks wet.
But also to say like it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Like, and I've had people who have like accused me and have gone off, and then like I just go and get tested. And I'm like, well, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
And people will just say like, you were the only one that I was with, and I'm just like, I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
And now I know that's not true.
You're like,
and I'm like, also you're just assuming that you only got it from from penetrative sex, and like if you're out there sucking dicks, you could still get it. Like there's a lot of things that you can do to get a lot of things.
Right.
And my thing is like when people tell me, I'm like, oh thanks, like I'll go get it, like I'll go get it checked out. Thanks, like I'll like we had a good time. I'll see you in 10 days when you're good again. I'm like, it's not. In fact, that's the best time to go see because I'll know you haven't been with anyone.
No, I know that's the thing. I'm like, so. A lot of the guys that I told, they were like, oh, it's cool. Like, thanks for telling me it's treatable, no big, but I'll get tested. Like, a lot of the guys were like super cool about it. The guy that I made watch wrestling with me, it was like, I just gave him the, cause he didn't have, I think he has insurance right now. So I just gave him the partner treatment just in case. It was like, here you go. Just in $16 on me. Thanks, Planned Parenthood. But it's really, I feel like, it's been a good week of like getting to know each other because you can't have sex for 7 days. So I'm like, wow, that's really forcing my hand of, getting to know a person. And
how many dates had you been on?
Actually, since giving, like, this is a scenario where, like, I should have fucking wrecked this shit. I made him watch wrestling and then was like, you could have chlamydia, here's some meds. Like, I should have really fucked this up. But no, I saw him Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So,
there you go.
Wow.
And no sexual contact. So, just, like, making out. So, what I'm saying, ladies, is...
Just tell them they've got chlamydia.
That's how you keep a man. That's how you keep him coming back for more with the promise that we once had unprotected sex, and maybe we could do it again in 7 to 10 business days.
Tell me you have chlamydia so I know it's real.
I think I cracked the code. Finally gonna have a boyfriend. Get ready for cuffing season, y'all. Oh my goodness. Okay, so speaking of who we like... Lyndon, so who would you have had a crush on in this iteration when you were in high school versus who do you have a crush on now? Because they are all over 18, so let's just...
Right. So I feel like in high school, it's hard to tell because there were like 3 out gay guys in my high school. And this is a class of like 900 people. So
wait, we're talking about the TV characters.
I know, I'm saying it's
sorry.
hard to say who I would
Gotcha,
I would have liked in high school because there weren't a lot of people to even form a type from.
Gotcha.
Maybe a Jonah in high school because I was like I was not only nerdy but also a jock. I was also a little emo too, so it was like I had it all going on.
Oh my god,
I had it all going on.
The first time that I did a deep dive of Lyndon's Facebook page and his profile pictures, and it's funny because Lyndon now, I mean, you'll plug your IG later, but Lyndon now is like cut from marble. Just a real Adonis of a gentleman. And when I went back in his like Facebook pictures, I was like, he's getting skinnier and skinnier and skinnier, and his hair is getting longer and longer and longer until it was like, the typical like black hair over the eye.
Oh yeah, no, I had full on like hair.
Swoop hair.
It was everything. So I had a lot of that. So I think I would have been into a Jonah. Nowadays, like this is sounding so cliche for this show now, but like especially with this episode, like Zig is so hot to me right now.
I love the
but
dance.
VJ's cute too. I like VJ
cute.
too. And he's got really nice lips, I noticed in this episode. I was like, oh. But he's like, I don't know. He's just like very confident though. Like I like that about him.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, good times. Glad we got to talk about STIs because it's important.
Yeah, listen, I'm all about good sexual health, so.
Yes, me too. Me too.
You gotta use the podcast with 3 listeners to destigmatize sexual transmitted
Gotta start
infections.
somewhere. It starts with one person,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. We can convince one person. Although, oh my God, it did remind me, Jesse. Do you remember Bethany telling the story about one of her coworkers who was like, "Don't go to that bagel place because somebody has AIDS."
Oh my
and
God.
Bethany was like, "Okay, well, you can't get AIDS from somebody
From
like
a
making
bagel.
a bagel." And then she was saying that she was trying to, and she's like, "Well, I guess unless they had AIDS and they had like a bloody nose and they like sneezed blood on your bagel." And she was like, "I was trying to imagine how much blood you would have to sneeze out onto a bagel that somebody else would have to consume."
And they'd have to
Not-
have
and
like
not
a
only-
cut in their mouth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, and yeah, so then they were just imagining like sneeze blood.
It's like, all I know is that I was eating a bagel from there, and then I bit the inside of my lip, and so now I just don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know. I think I might have gotten AIDS from a bagel.
Also, as long as we're doing education, let's make sure that listeners know that HIV is what you contract. AIDS
Yes.
is a condition that you get from having HIV when your immune system is so compromised that you get a bunch of other diseases and conditions that kill you. So,
And if you have an everything bagel, it means it has everything, including HIV. So be
Exactly.
careful. Be careful.
Exactly.
Don't eat everything bagels. Oh my God. Okay, great.
All right.
we
Do you
covered
want
all
to
that.
start the episode?
Yes. Okay. So I don't think I mentioned it before, but we are talking about season 2, episode 8, #Rise and Grind.
Ooh, not risen and grisen.
No, none of that.
We open with Miles, Winston, and Zoe all chanting for Tristan to eat a spoonful of, I thought it looked like mayo, but I guess it's butter.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think it was butter.
Which he doesn't eat on his bread. Like, what do you put on your toast? Or, like, what do you... I don't know. Anyways.
All those jams at Hollingsworth
Oh,
Manor.
you're right! That's what he's used to. He's like, I don't even eat this. I need the 6 jams provided by Hollingsworth Manor. Oh, thank God you're here, Lyndon, because I would
Royal
not...
jelly.
Yes.
So next it's Zoe's turn. She has to stick her head into Miles's laundry hamper for 5 seconds. It smells like a small animal drowned in your junk sweat. So then Miles opts for truth, and Zoe wants to know his body count. But, you know, all the way, not just like hand jobs.
Yeah, no handies. But this is so weird because it's like, Zoe, why are you asking this when you're on his
That's
list?
what I thought too.
You're outing
It's a little
yourself, you
weird.
dumb bitch. Like, you're not only making it uncomfortable for your boyfriend, but also your
Yeah.
best friend.
Right.
Well, you got to remember that she doesn't even like him, number one.
Yeah.
And I guess and honestly, there's no shame in her game. I mean, she did her video with Zig and just shared it. Like, she doesn't care what
Yeah,
people
she
think
don't
about
give a
her in
single
any of these
fuck.
situations, I've noticed.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So Miles is all the way up to 5 now, which is news to Winston. He got down with Esme and Zoe. He and Tristan haven't done the deed yet, so Tristan gets uncomfortable. He turns the question back on Virgin Winston, who isn't looking to score a quick thrill and move on. When he asks Tristan, he gets angry and storms off.
Can we also talk about the fact that, okay, so you didn't get there, Lyndon, but like, wasn't it the Degrassi like movie that happened right before the new class where they went on the
was so
France
bad.
trip or whatever?
Yeah.
Whatever the season was where they went to France.
Right.
Zoe and Miles already fucked. Remember, didn't they?
They might have. I don't think they like.
I'm pretty
confirmed
sure
it.
they did already fuck. And then he's like, Zoe last summer, like, what?
Yeah.
I thought they already fucked. I was under the
Maybe.
impression that already happened within their world, and that this was a...
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem, is the time frames on Degrassi are always really weird. So, like, was that last summer? Like, what?
Right,
Where
because
are we?
one season is like a half a year. It's
Yeah.
not one season per year. And sometimes I feel like they're like, and this one season is just a semester. And you're like, I
Yeah.
have no fucking clue. And it's always summer, like in Canada.
It's weird, but I mean, it wasn't always like that. There were lots of like winter episodes before, so it's really weird.
Like, you mean the episode where Craig gets Manny the Christmas charm bracelet with skates on it? Man, what a triggering episode. I can't even go back there. Oh, man. Yes, those were winter episodes, but like on the new class, there's been
There's never been snow. I've never
It's
seen
eternal summer. Anyways,
I mean, this season, like, this show is all about the aesthetics. I was noting before, like, all these actors are way more attractive than they were before. Like, before they were kids and they looked like kids. Like, these people, I'm like, you are all at least like 18 and older, like all of you.
Even like somebody who's supposed to be considered super nerdy, like say Boz, is like not a bad looking dude. Like,
no, not at all.
Yeah, so that's a good point.
Like, when you look back at that first Next Generation
Ashley's
episode, those
hair.
are like...
Oh, my God.
Those are children.
Emma. Oh, my God.
Especially, like, seeing her again on, like, a couple episodes ago or whatever. I'm just like,
what a glow up.
Is crazy.
Her face was, like, so gaunt. Like, that first scene, it was like her eyes were sunken in. She was literally a fucking skeleton. It's like, oh, my God. Oh.
That lady's right.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, but you have a point. This is a much more attractive bunch of kids. Yeah. But I also think that kids in general these days look better than we did.
True.
Like,
do they? Maybe
they do.
They have makeup tutorials.
I don't know.
And
yes,
that's true. You know, they're contouring. That's why.
Can you imagine 14-year-old Emma with a contour? Well, she was 12 in the first season. She doesn't even have cheekbones to contour. I don't know. Oh, man. Anyways.
So
Let's just go to the dot.
Oh, wait, no, but I also wanted to point out Winston, like, obliviously saying, "What's up his butt?" when Tristan leaves. I'm like, nothing. That's the problem.
So if you had to guess, you think you're assuming that that Tristan is the bottom?
Oh, yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. And this, like, comes up later, but he's only been with women. Like, he's
Miles is already... Yeah,
Miles, sorry. And, like, so Miles has only been with women, so I just would assume then, like, I don't know.
It's top.
Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean that, but I was, like, trying to figure that out because I was like, well, I'm assuming Tristan would be a bottom, but he hasn't done anything, so he doesn't know what he likes. It's hard to know, you know.
Maybe they're both verse.
Ooh.
They could be.
Maybe they're both tops, and they're gonna have to break up over it.
That would be the storyline of the
I'm
century.
looking forward to that being a storyline.
I know. I don't. Would
It should come
Degrassi,
up.
would you go there?
It's relevant.
It is. Because that happened. Like, you ever, like, had a really big crush on a guy, and then you find out you're both tops, and you're like, well, fuck, and neither of you will budge, so.
Exactly.
Yeah. Damn.
All right, so Zig dances his way over to Grace and Tiny with a happy birthday cupcake to celebrate Tiny getting into science camp.
I think you're being a little generous, Jesse. He just does a twirl.
Just a little twirl.
Just a little twirl.
But he's wearing the tightest tank top he has worn at all on the show, and it looked good. Because his other ones, like, his butt looked better because there wasn't, like, you could see the shape.
Well, because he doesn't wear underwear.
There's also that.
Yeah. Anyways.
So Tiny isn't as excited as they are. He's not sure if he can afford the flights. But Zig has a better idea. Let's just enjoy being 3 single dudes on the prowl. Grace points out that Zig is still pining for Maya. But hey, he hasn't thought about her in minutes. Grace takes off when Zig is approached by a random woman who asks if he can dance. She's got a gig for him. Tiny chimes in that he can dance too, so he wants in. Zig doesn't want Tiny to steal his gig, but Tiny needs the money.
I thought it was pretty funny that the way Tiny defended Grace is it was like, bro, you just misgendered Grace by calling her a dude. Like, what are you doing? Like, ugh. Like, that was A, strange. But B, also, the way that woman came up with a little poster, like, was she about to fucking hang that shit in the dot? Like, looking for strippers.
And she's just like, wait, I found them.
Yeah, they're right here.
But yeah, I don't know. I kept thinking she was Holly J through this whole
I
episode.
thought so,
and I was like,
too.
wait, no.
She did look like she looks like Holly J. And that would have been a twist.
What
of
if
a
she was
century.
Heather Sinclair?
Because we never saw. Maybe that was Heather Sinclair. That bitch. Oh my god, it would be trying to recruit. How do you even know if they're 18-year-olds? You're at the dot. Why didn't you ask that up front?
She asked at the end of the interview.
Right. Oh
Before
my
she
God.
asked them to take their clothes off. Spoiler alert, sorry. She asked if they're 18.
Like, wait a minute. Yeah, no, I thought it was very strange that I was like, she was about to hang those posters in the dot. That's what I gathered, at least.
Listen, they don't discriminate against sex workers at the dot, I guess. So.
Yeah, well.
Hey.
Does that count does a stripper count as a sex worker?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, okay.
Because, like, you're, like, selling your body in a way, you know? Like, so it's still, you're not having sex,
But-
obviously, necessarily, but...
Didn't you ever see that tweet about, like, if you don't think minors, like, that work in the mines, not people that are young, minors, do they not sell their body?
They do, but not for sexual gratification, which
That's
I
true.
think that,
Right.
that strippers do.
What if minors really turn me on? I'm just like, ooh, yes, get those salt deposits. They're all up in that cleavage. That's a rock, little geology joke. Sorry. All I have is water in my cup, and I'm drunk.
All right, so Maya and Jonah head to his car as Maya teases him about running away with his girlfriend. Frankie is trying to be good, so she has less time for him.
Which is like, so she's being less racist, so she has no time for you, Jonah. I was like, what do you mean Frankie's trying to be good?
All they do together is tell racist jokes all
They
day.
do. They do. God, we always thought that Jonah was like actually teaching her to be a better person, but in actuality, he was like,
He's like, just don't do it in public, man.
right? What's the deal with these blacks? Am I right? It's like, wait, what? We just don't see it. It's not recorded.
Oh, jeez. So it's good because they need to record before Maya loses her co-op. Oh, yeah, making it rain.
That is what she sounded like. Oh, God.
So I was just like, who the fuck throws their checks on the ground?
And why
Like,
did she have multiple checks? Was
For
it like...
I think that's
$5.
how that happens though for royalties checks.
Oh,
like
it's
you
per
get,
video.
I think it's like something, but you will get like multiple checks for like tiny amounts of
Okay.
money. There's a Seinfeld episode about that where
Oh,
Jerry like gets cramps in his hand from signing all these like little checks because he did a commercial. I forget what but he did a commercial or something, and then he keeps getting all these little checks for royalties, and his hand like cramps up, and it there's a whole in Seinfeldian fashion. There's
Yeah.
a whole like thing that goes behind that, but
Yeah, we're not
whoa,
about
it's
that
not
life
legal.
yet. We have no sponsors.
we're gonna get you monetized.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share this on all my social media, and I have a collective like 10,000 followers. So
Damn.
Because Lyndon's a man whore on IG. He'll plug that later. I've seen parts of Lyndon I never thought I'd see as his friend. And it's always a surprise. I think I didn't follow you on a social disease, but I had followed you on
your work.
No, I was like
There was
doing,
like a
I was doing social media for like a theater company.
Yeah, that's
and
what
I
it was.
just like I didn't know. I had not heard wind of Lyndon's IG. And when I started following it, it would always be like the first post, I think, because it had like the most likes and reacts. And I'd be like, whoa, Lyndon's got just a towel in front of his dick. Okay, there he is.
Listen, my Hazygram is popping, all right?
It is. Mm-hmm. But you're going to bring in the listeners. Yay!
Well, I'll try.
So Maya got like $5 in YouTube royalties. Jonah isn't very impressed. But what's with the uptick in money but no views? Turns out VJ recorded his own sweet dance version and has like 4,000 views. Which apparently is worth like $1.
Yeah,
That's it.
like
I feel like you
dollar
need a
per
lot
view or
more.
something, like or dollar per 1,000 views or something. I don't know.
You don't
Maybe.
get a lot. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I know, like, Spotify is, like, 0.01 cents per listen or
Yeah,
something.
right.
Like, the royalties you get are really small.
Yeah, I tried to help my ex get money from Spotify for his music by just playing his album on loop and then muting it and going to bed. And I think he got like fucking 62 cents or something from it, but like, I was like, I'm helping. I'm a good girlfriend.
Right there.
If only you weren't cheating on me.
You could have had a bad bitch.
Not well, I was committal, but he was non-committal, so unfortunately.
You'd help him with his career just a
Just
little.
a little on Spotify. Just a little. You hear that, boys? I'll give you chlamydia, and I'll help you with your career. Just a little.
Listen, those royalties aren't covering the treatment, all right?
No, they're not. $16 whole. Well, actually, mine was covered. Partner treatment was $16. My insurance covered mine for free, so.
So, Maya isn't happy he stole her song. It wasn't for sale. I feel like I'd be like into it. I'd be like, all right, spread my song around.
Exactly.
Get more attention for it.
That's impressions. You might get some, some click through if
Right.
you play your cards right.
If you're not a bitch, Maya.
And like somebody should have educated her on how this shit works. Like, sorry girl, like if they pay for it.
Yeah, there's not really much you can do about it, yeah. Oh my god. Did you see that other tweet about like if you're gonna make a sex tape, play Disney music in the background because it'll get taken down immediately? And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea.
I saw that for Republican propaganda, like when they're out in the street creating like rallying and stuff.
Oh.
You just go with a speaker and play Taylor Swift or something in the background.
Yeah. Because
She'll arrive and shut it down.
Right. I did have I had a performance where I played a Beyonce song at the end, and I had it on YouTube, and it definitely got taken down because of the Beyonce song. Mm-hmm. So I said to cut it, but that's fine.
They will get you. Sometimes it's surprising me how quickly they take stuff down.
Yeah.
Like, I like.
And yet, when Nazis post things, they're like, "Let that shit go."
I like recorded like a 10-second clip from a episode of Parks and Rec to like post to make a point of something on YouTube or on Facebook, and then like literally I post it 5 seconds later. It's like it's gone. I was like, oh,
Jesus.
okay.
Wow. Big Brother's watching.
I'm like, I paid for this. I paid for this Hulu subscription.
It's Casual Friday. Sorry, that was the voice
That's
I
The
heard.
Office, but
I know,
still,
but that's the voice I heard. It's Casual Friday. Anyways.
So Miles exclaims that he doesn't get it, which Winston misunderstands as not getting the math problem. What he doesn't get is why Tristan got mad the other day over his number. It's just a little sex. And Zoe is more experienced than Winston, but Winston isn't psyched about her number either. But he's ready when she is.
But she didn't say her number though.
No, she didn't. He didn't ask her.
Yeah.
But he at least knows that she did it with Miles.
Right.
So since he's done nothing, she's more experienced still.
That's true. Where's my number? Are we all ready to reveal our numbers?
I do not know what my number is.
Yeah, neither do I.
Wow. Well,
I have no way of knowing that.
Well, y'all should really
counting.
keep better records. I'm at 46.
I don't know. I've been in monogamous relationships back to back, or well, one wasn't monogamous, but I've been in relationships for like the last 14 years.
That's
really long
That's
time.
your whole
Yeah.
life number.
Wait, mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say my numbers
I was
were high and then kind of teetered off. Yeah.
And then they load out.
I was at like 72 in 2010, so
Well,
Yes,
you're like,
Rose.
20 years older than me? No, just kidding.
podcast over.
Yeah, right. I would expect your number to be, I think you've always been comfortable, getting out there and doing your thing.
That's true.
I feel like I've had peaks and valleys of like where I was at, where I was like, I'm not going to sleep with a man until he's my boyfriend. And that's how I got into a relationship with Nate. And that was a terrible idea, simply because I told him
Right.
that. And then we got drunk and fucked. And the next day I was like,
Oh,
you're my
God.
boyfriend now. And then it was like, oh no.
So I calculated my number that one time, and then I was like, I'm never doing this again, because it was like horrifying once I counted it all up. I was like, nope. And also, but like the funny thing is like, I don't know. I grew up like an ugly duckling, and it wasn't until later
same.
into my life that I figured out my style better, like got more confident and was able to get out there and do more stuff. And because I came from like nobody paying me attention to be able to get attention, I was like, well, I better like get what I can get while I can, because you never know. Like, I'm like, you know, today's sex is not promised tomorrow. So when it comes up, like, you better get busy fucking. Or
I want that on a throw pillow. Today's sex is not promised tomorrow. Live, laugh, love.
Oh god.
Live, laugh, fuck.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I had a similar experience because like I was an ugly duckling up until I got bangs, and then suddenly the dudes came running.
Show us your forehead, Jesse. Give us a little.
Oh no, thank you.
Show us that 5-head.
It's a 5-head. It's terrible.
Yeah, once I started just, you know, letting my titties out to play, it was, I don't know that, I feel like I did a pretty good glow up, but I had to move to Chicago, because, like, for me, it was all of a sudden being in a larger city with people that weren't just white, where I was like, oh, there's people who are into this? Okay. So that was really what brought me into
definitely
my sexual excitement.
Being in a larger pond,
yes,
you know, changes things a lot.
It does. It certainly does. I can't. Yep.
But so Miles thinks everyone overcomplicates sex. Winston says that Miles makes everyone feel like a loser for not having sex, which tips Miles off that Tristan is also a virgin, which is great news. Miles can just bang him. Problem solved.
I agree. I agreed with Miles wholeheartedly this whole time.
You know, I mean,
if you want sex, nut up and shut up. Nut up and do it. As he said, nut up and do it. Not nut up and shut up, but nut up and do it.
And that'll be on your other throw pillow. You know, and it's funny though, because he does, I feel like, just by looking at stereotypical teenage boys, like that kind of did make sense, where he was like, we're two teenage boys that like each other,
right?
Like, let's just do it, because that's pretty much, I mean, well, maybe that's just what society tells us, that, you know, because of the American Pie movies, we just assume that all teenage boys are trying to do is fuck.
I mean, yeah, listen, if there'd been, like, well, I remember my days, like, pre losing my virginity, I remember my days where I was like, and then, like, I'm not doing it until I have a boyfriend, and but like, I remember those days, but I couldn't get a boyfriend to save my life, so eventually I was like, all right, let's just, it's been too long, let's just get what we can get.
Can we tell virginity stories?
Oh God.
I'll tell mine.
All right.
I mean, it's not that exciting because I had a high school boyfriend. However, I will say that I remember we dated for like a year and a half, from like freshman to sophomore year, and then we broke up for, I don't know, 6 months or something like that. Got back together junior year, and then it was like we hadn't had sex when we first were together, but then I was like all consumed with like, well, I have to lose my virginity to you, and like you keep like being distant on me and like wanting to break up, so we need to fuck right now. So I need to lose my virginity to you and not somebody else random.
Right.
So yeah, I just remember, I think it was at his house, because his dad was an eye doctor and his mom was a teacher, so we knew like kind of when she was coming home, and if she had like activities, so we would just be at his house, and yeah. He had a very large penis. It hurt. It was like we did it the first time, and then it was like, I don't know if I want to do that again. So he was very nice about it. He never like pressured me into it. He was like, I'm ready whenever you are.
Yeah.
So it was like a good experience that I didn't feel like I, you know, was pressured into it at all. But it definitely took some getting used to. It was like, let's try some lubrication. That helped. It just took a while to like be like, oh, okay, this is fun now.
Well, you also have to, like, if you're tense and you're like nervous,
right, exactly. Yeah, and I'm sure that was a big part of it. So yeah, it was definitely like just getting used to it and then being like, all right, now I'm good. But yeah, 17. I was 17.
So I remember, I don't know how old I was at the time, but I remember taking this like online quiz. Because I was like...
I was like, are you a virgin?
So, no, so again, I was, like I said, I was like nerdy kid. And so I was big into like online role playing. I would do these like X-Men like role plays back when America Online was still a thing and there were like chat rooms.
Are you saying my email address isn't valid? Because I do have an
I'm not
AOL.
saying that I still don't have my email address from then, but I don't use it.
I do.
But my mom still uses hers, so
I can email it.
there's that. But I think it was back during that time, but I don't remember. But I remember taking this quiz that was like, when will you lose your virginity? And you like fill out a bunch of questions and then it like tells you. I remember it said, you will lose your virginity at the age of 21 and in your own bed. And I was like, oh. And like at the time, it was like a while from then. I was like, oh no. But so I had like, but so cut to my senior year at U of I. Yes. So it was my senior year at U of I. I was going to turn, it was almost my golden birthday. It was like August, like late August. So my birthday is at the end of September. So we were like less than a month from my 22nd birthday. I had not lost my virginity yet. I was going to a friend of mine's birthday party at this bar. So I was like, and I like got myself dressed up. I felt really cute. I was like the perfect drunk. Like I was having a really good time that night. And I think that like lended itself to this, but my energy was just like on. I remember just like talking to him. I was just vibing. I don't remember what I said to him. But we had like left. And like as we were all kind of like leaving, I think he asked if I wanted a ride back home because he had driven there. So I was like, okay, sure. And so then we drove back and like he was dropping me off at the in front of my place. And I don't remember how we got to this, but I was just like, I think I was just like sort of talking. I don't know if I was bemoaning like my sex life, but we were just sort of talking about like stuff. And I just remember saying to him, I was like, sometimes you just want to be close to someone, And he was
That's
like...
such a Degrassi line.
And he literally... And listen, I was raised on some Degrassi, so I pulled out my best trick. And he was like... He's like, well, you can be.
Ooh.
And so I invited him in. We did a thing. He spent the night and then left. But the funny part is I was 21. He was like 30, which... at the time was like a big stretch for me.
Yeah,
you know when you're like young and 30 seems so old?
Oh, yeah.
Like nowadays, like I'm 34 now and like
yeah, but I don't
get
want
with
to fuck
21-year-olds all the time.
Okay.
they don't care. Like it's like a different culture now.
Yeah.
But it was nice. But then I of course went from there to be like infatuated with him and he was just like again, he was 30 and was kind of like, no, dude, like, we just had some fun. I'm going about the rest of my, like, life, which led to some tribulations for me, but we won't get into all that. But it was good, though.
Hey.
So, yeah, I was 19, because I never had a high school boyfriend. I had, like, a friends with benefits in high school, but it was not a good situation. But we didn't have sex. It was a guy who I met through LiveJournal. He had just moved to Fitzwilliam where I was living.
What?
Yeah. And he found me on LiveJournal. I was like, hey, I just moved to Fitzwilliam. You want to be friends? And so I added like
the stuff of nightmares, Jesse. But continue. I was like, were you wearing dolphin pants? Did you meet him at a hotel? Okay.
Well, so
was it
he was like
92?
24. So he was like 24, and this was when I worked at Mr. Mike's.
Oh yeah.
And he came in one day. Like, we hadn't met up or anything. We were just LiveJournal friends. And he came in one day and is like, hey, we're friends on LiveJournal.
Which in itself is, like, awkward as fuck. But, yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah. So then from there, he would, like, talk to me on LiveJournal and be like, you want to hang out? And so we would. We'd, like, watch movies and stuff. And then, I don't know, we would, like, fool around, but then, like, he kind of made a big deal about the fact that I was a virgin, so it took like a while. And I can barely remember it. Like, it wasn't spectacular.
Nothing to write home about.
It was just kind of like, whatever, let's get this over with type of thing. And then we like slept together a couple more times. We like kind of dated, but he didn't want to be like in a relationship. He was like seeing multiple people. And I can't remember like what ended it, but something ended it. And
A social disease.
I don't know. It just like wasn't, at the time I was all like, ooh, maybe I'll have a boyfriend, but that didn't happen.
Oh man, I feel that.
Yeah.
Been there.
And so it goes.
So it goes. Anyways.
And then shortly after that, that's when I got the bangs, and that's when I started getting banged. So,
Hey! Yes. Oh man, what a game changer.
VJ and Boz are duking it out in a magic game when Maya strolls in. VJ is psyched to see her. He loves her music. She asks him to take the song down, but he doesn't want to upset his subscribers. Boz tries to insert himself as manager, and Maya is not concerned with him. He notes that the song is a cover, which is allowed, and that she's credited for it. She doesn't have the right to force him to take it down. She is about to record an album, and she doesn't want his weird version out there confusing everyone, which offends VJ. Maybe your version is the weird version. She threatens to rip his magic card, which is probably worth like 5 cents if he doesn't take it down, so of course he agrees.
But what if that's the most powerful
No, it depends
card?
on the card.
I feel it's like,
card.
what's it called?
Maybe
Mana?
Maya. Yeah, maybe she got lucky and she picked one that had a lot of, I don't know, spell power.
I mean, either way, I feel like this is illegal. Like threatening property damage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's getting messy. But also, I love that VJ admits, like, I know we have a weird history. It's like, y'all trolled the fuck out of her and then
Threatened
had her
and her
swatted.
family with
True.
rape.
Yeah, I was
Swatted
like,
her. Yeah, it's like not even.
so it's like, I think Maya has every right to, specifically him,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
not want him to do it.
But she
it's
doesn't
like-
even mention that
No,
part.
I don't even
Like,
think she
that's
cares
what's
about that.
weird. That's what's weird about it.
Yeah, they often do that in Degrassi where they don't acknowledge a lot of, like, past storylines where it's like, no, y'all aren't cool.
Right.
But, okay, whatever.
Although
you know what else
VJ did start to get into the feminist club, remember? He was like, oh,
That's true.
I talked to Mr. Perino about the word manpower.
That's right. Thank God. Because that's what was really holding us back. We're probably paid equally now, thanks to VJ. You know what? I'm sorry, this is behind, but like, isn't it weird that Miles didn't know Tristan was a virgin? Like,
Yeah.
did they never have that conversation?
I guess not.
Well, I mean, there was the whole thing where he thought he, had a social disease and all that
yeah.
stuff. So maybe he just thought like, oh, he must have been banging dudes like since us.
Okay. That makes sense. Good point.
Tiny serves up some sick dance moves in front of Zig and a crowd of randos. He then beckons for Zig to show him some of his best ones. Zig jumps up and down, starts spinning and pointing and waving his hand in front of his face.
Doing some John
Yeah,
Cena.
he did the John Cena.
Then Tiny counters with some arm movements and a little twirl. Clearly, Tiny's the better dancer.
I was like, yeah, literally all Zig did was a twirl. He pointed.
He didn't do anything.
And then John Cena. Like, that was it.
He did a little shoulder shimmies too, but like overall, it's like this is for a dance battle. And then like, because I was watching, and I was like, okay, he's like warming up to something, and then he just walks back, and I was like, I was like,
Oh, okay.
that's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for like Esme too, the thing of it is she's not in the background of the scene.
Right.
It's like
She
Tiny
walks up at
finishes
the
and
end.
she walks through the door.
Yeah.
And it was like, how did you even see any of that? But okay.
It's her business to know what's going on.
It sure
so
is.
whenever the pot needs to be stirred, she will appear.
It's true. It's true. And she's like, let's talk some shit about these people. Let's do it.
So yeah, Esme inserts herself talking shit to Zig. Zig rolls his eyes. She's no expert. But apparently she is and has 12 years of dance training. She offers lessons, which he shrugs off. But then he immediately rushes to her for help once Tiny walks off. She accepts, but he better be ready to work.
Hard.
Yeah, she was throwing out the flirt bombs in this episode.
Because again, I watched with the subtitle, so it was like, you better be ready to work, period. Hard, period. And I was like, ooh, foreshadow.
It's as if she knew what he was auditioning for
she
and
knew.
he didn't. Has it been like established that she's a dancer
I don't think so.
previously?
No.
Because that was like a random thing to just bring up. Which
Right.
usually in the style of Degrassi, usually they'll like throw these things out for people like offhandedly earlier so that there's some reference. Like,
But yeah, no, they never. Because she wasn't on the Next Generation.
yeah,
She was an entirely new character.
And
so.
like usually, and like sometimes they'll even throw things in for people that they then never reference again. Like when Marco was like a fly breakdancer before he was a real character.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
That they just never bring
my
up again.
God.
That he can like apparently is like a great dancer. Yeah,
That's so. I never thought about that.
I think about it often.
So Miles tricked Tristan into coming up to his bedroom for a makeout sesh. Tristan obliges. Miles immediately rips his shirt off, but they're interrupted by a text from Tristan's dad. He needs to check in because he promised he'd be home in 20 minutes. Miles insists it won't take that long.
You're not even right. You're not.
1 minute man.
Sorry, it took me a minute.
Anytime a dude says that on TV, I'm like, so you intend on disappointing me?
Right. I'm like, wait, because the thing of it is like, it'd be one thing if you're like admitting that it's going to take a little less than 20 minutes. That's fine. You're not taking into account that he's got to travel home in 20 minutes. So like, and I assume he's walking. I don't think he has a car. Like,
So here is the point where I thought maybe Miles is going to bottom. Like maybe he's like, this won't take long. Like I'm gonna ride the shit out of you, Tristan, and you're a virgin, so this will take 2 seconds, and then you'll be happy, and we can move on. You know,
All right.
that's a good point.
because there weren't really any cues to like.
Yeah.
There were no
He didn't turn him
there were
around
no
or
body
anything, yeah.
cues for their
Right.
positions really. So I was like, because he like threw him down on his back, so I mean he could have just hopped on, and we don't see which way they're going.
Because they're both like essentially gay virgins. Maybe they were just gonna sword fight with their dicks, and they assume that that's what gay sex is. Pew, 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 pew.
I mean, I feel like for both of them, like, for your first time that way, it's like, doesn't it take a lot of prep and a lot of, like...
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Foreplay
I
and-
had that in my notes too. I'm like, if Tristan's supposed to bottom, like, no, that's horrible.
You gotta make
can't
sure
do
you
that.
didn't have Taco Bell that day. Like,
Well, you know what? Honestly, thinking about it more and more, clearly Miles was going to bottom for Tristan because Tristan would not have prepped for that. Like
Yeah.
you don't do that.
But if-
granted, maybe Miles doesn't realize because
That's what
he's
I'm
not
saying.
fucked a guy before.
yeah, he
I
just
don't know.
assumes that
I
Tristan's
think he
anus
would
is
know. I
self
think he
lubricating.
would know though.
You would think he'd know, but he.
In fact, it's usually the opposite. Usually, like gay guys who have not had anal sex before are afraid of that more than guys who are more experienced at it. Like, so I feel like he must have known that he was good to go. I'm like sure of
That-
it now. I'm sure.
Well,
of it.
but that's saying that Degrassi has gay writers that would know. You know what I mean? That would put this much thought and effort
That's
into
true.
it. But if it's a bunch of straights, I'm like, oh, this is what gay guys do. You just
Listen,
take
no,
out your dick and
I'm
penetrate.
adding this. I'm adding this to the meta text of the show. Like it's done.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
okay.
out there.
So
It's
all
out
right.
there now.
So
I've
so
spoken.
then would you consider? But then would you consider Miles' verse because
Probably.
he probably could be.
I have known guys though who were I've known bi guys who like to fuck women and bottom for guys. So there's
Yeah, they're out
there's
there.
all kinds. It takes all kinds.
Yeah. I mean, when
Takes and gives all kinds.
y'all's prostates are in your booty holes. I mean,
Plays for all teams, okay?
he does. He sure does. Oh man.
So Miles starts aggressively ripping off clothes and belts and all that, but then makes the mistake of pointing out that he's had more sex than Tristan, which Tristan takes offense to. Are you saying there's something wrong with me? Miles says sex isn't a big deal, to which Tristan replies, maybe not for a man whore.
Hey!
When Frankie busts in without knocking, embarrassing everyone.
Notice they didn't even react to that. Like, she opened the door and they just, like, stood there.
She's the one who's like,
oh my god! But, like, they were just kind of like, what? What do you want?
Tristan was too
Right.
busy slut-shaming to feel
Right.
he was basking in the glow of self-righteousness, so he could not feel shame in that moment.
No. Exactly. And it's because, like, neither of them were hard. Like, I mean, granted, it's a fucking children's show.
Listen, he didn't have his pants off yet. You couldn't
They were both
necessarily
wearing,
tell.
like, baggy boxers.
Well, no, Miles didn't take his pants off yet.
Oh, you're right.
He still
Okay,
had his
that's
jeans
true.
on. He was unbuckling.
Oh, you're right.
There's a lot of unbuckling on
Yeah.
this show. Like, guys are just unbuckling. Mostly Miles, I guess, but like,
right.
but
Trying to
both
whip out his-
Miles and Zig like unbuckle their pants in front of people in this episode.
That's
so.
true. And the time that Miles tried to unbuckle his pants at the
Right.
the,
At
res- the
Lowe's.
Mexican
Exactly.
restaurant.
Yeah.
He was like, "I will show everybody my dick." Oh, those are the days.
Right.
Like, why didn't Frankie knock? Like,
Right.
you don't. If you have a teenage brother, don't just open the door. He could be masturbating or something. Like,
I feel like this is a like I think it's a common like television and movie trope though, people just busting into rooms, because I've never had that happen
Right.
except
Yeah.
for like when my niece was 4, she
Right.
would do that. She'd be like "Poof." Or like my dog would do that if she smelled food, she'd just
Yeah.
push into a room. Like
and she didn't care if you were masturbating.
she didn't.
She just, the dog has a look of shame on her face, shakes her
like,
head, walks out.
She's like, no snacks. she's like, all this bone and none for me.
Jesus.
Oh, lordy. Look who's 40.
So Zig twirls, thrusts, kicks, and poses his way through a breathtaking number. But god damn it, his arms just aren't strong enough.
Nope.
He
those
tries
strong
again,
arms.
and Esme immediately yells, "Strong arms!"
I also want to point out that when you watch with subtitles, it said somber pop music playing. And that's exactly what it was. Hey.
Zig has a bitch fit and tries to quit because she isn't buying a ticket to his gun show.
We are, though. We're lining up for it.
I sure am.
Zig takes his weak-armed failure as a sign that he can't do anything. He can't even
Nope.
be a good boyfriend.
Nope.
Esme rolls her eyes. Is he really whining about a girl? He needs to get confidence and fight the doubt. Now let's try again.
They really threw me with her being like, "Are you really talking about another girl right now?"
Right. She's
I thought-
already
Yeah,
like,
well-
I'm your girlfriend.
That's what I'm saying. I thought she was going to be like, "Why would you bring up another girl in front of me? We dated, blah, 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 blah." But it was like, "No, dance is about confidence." I was like, okay, Esme. Not giving a single shit about Zig anymore. I feel you. That's who you are.
And it's like really interesting to see her on like, I'm like, is this supposed to be a redemptive arc for her? Like, she's such a weird character they just throw into like storylines randomly, and like her motivations are just like wild. Because she was like wanting Miles to do drugs all the time,
Yep.
and was like being like manipulative and all this shit, and then now she's just like, oh no, I'm like helping you just cause.
Right? Like,
Yeah, she's
yeah,
a-
And there wasn't a lot of there wasn't really much that happened in between those two states. Like, I mean, I guess like people can be dynamic in that way, but as far as the narrative goes, I'm just like, so she's good now? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
She did audition for the show, the reunion
yeah.
show,
Oh yeah,
and failed. So I don't know. She's got a lot of tricks up her sleeve.
yeah.
So Frankie is perusing a gossip rag that Miles needs to add to the box of Tristan's stuff. Mother Hollingsworth comes out and insists they get to school. Frankie is actually on board because yesterday wasn't so bad. Mother needs them straight home from school for Hunter's getting out of the psych ward party.
Yay.
She invited Tristan, but Miles is gonna uninvite him. Frankie questions why they're breaking up. Miles says because he rejected me sexually, but Frankie doesn't want to hear about it. Miles doesn't want to be with someone who doesn't want to sleep with him, but Miles is blowing this way out of proportion.
I didn't really have anything much to add to that one scene besides the fact that, like, the box of stuff for Tristan, there was, like, one weird-looking, almost Hawaiian shirt that I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? Like a brown sock hanging out. I was like, what is this stuff that he's... Purple water bottle?
There was a water bottle, yeah.
But this
And a
this just
gossip
reiterates why you don't talk about your number. You shouldn't. I try to avoid it at all costs.
46. Come at me, bro.
Yeah, no, again, I just stopped counting. I was like, this will just make me feel bad.
Exactly.
I wear my number with a badge of honor. Give me a scarlet 46. Put it on my chest.
All right, so now we're in the front of the school, and Maya is running down the playlist for an upcoming show as she and Grace approach the school. Surprisingly, Maya is down to play Yes, because VJ's cover made her realize what a good song it was. She starts to feel bad when they approach Jonah, who just so happens to be watching VJ trashing her on YouTube for not letting him sing the song. VJ says, she said if you're different, her songs are not for you. And I'm like, did he reach before that stretch?
Right.
Listen, you know what? She should have known better than to cross a queen, though. Like,
Right?
He came back petty as fuck with all the power of his many more followers. Like, she should have been a little more contrite
Right.
when she did all that. Like, I'm just like, listen, you're trying to be Taylor Swift, but you're not her yet.
No, exactly. And then for, was it Grace to be like,
Yeah.
do you want to start a flame war? I was like, is this homophobic? I was like, what? What? I've never heard anybody say that before.
No, that's what it's called when you go back and forth on like
Yeah.
social media, like
Is
trashing each other. It's
that
called a
what it's
flame war.
called?
Yeah.
Oh
Flame
my
war.
God.
Damn, Grace.
It's
Coming out
just
with the
coincidental
homophobia.
that it's with a gay man.
You want to start a flame war with this flamer? Like, what?
and she lost before she could even start. So that's why you don't start one with a gay man. VJ is always on fire.
Honestly, though, yeah, I've learned my lesson. I'm not even trying anymore. Y'all win.
But so
Love wins. Y'all win. I don't win.
So Maya thinks she's a serious artist, and VJ is just a karaoke queen.
I mean, that's accurate,
Yeah,
but
right. Oh my God. How about those first couple episodes where Jesse didn't know how to pronounce VJ?
that was listen, I wasn't gonna bring it up. I mean, listen.
The trouble we had with Yael.
What I should have done before this is like just go back as I was listening and record myself responding to things you guys were talking about. I'm like, no, it's this. It's VJ.
It's not VJ.
But JJ is painting.
Always a classic.
All right, did you have anything else to say about that scene?
No, just that I didn't know that. Y'all, the things I learned from this podcast. There's so much internet stuff that I don't know about. I guess I don't get into that much trouble. That's because dudes are always like, are you on Instagram? Are you on Snapchat? I'm like, nope, just Facebook.
Well, I lost my virginity because of LiveJournal, so I go way back.
Oh, I mean,
they're forever tied.
I had a dead journal, not a live journal, so I think I'm a worse person. I'm not sure.
I had a Zanga.
Oh. Look at us with our powers combined. Here we are.
But yeah, I just was like really interested in how they're super paralleling Maya to Taylor Swift in this episode, and I was just like, she wishes, but.
So, Zake's passionate interpretive dance woos the judges. He leaps, he bends, he sways from side to side. It's powerful.
They said it was something. I don't know if they felt all that, but...
Well, I mean, again, and I'll come back to this. I'll come back to what I want to say on the final round of this scene since it gets split up in the middle. But all I'm gonna say is that he looked great. That's all I'm gonna say. And I really appreciate that he went from like what we saw at that dance battle to this. I was like, okay,
he did come.
He does a fucking like black flip
A black flip?
A back flip.
Oh,
I think I was combining back and flip into one word.
I was like, I was like, do black people
flap
have their own flip that I don't know about? I was like, Lyndon, tell me. Invite me to the barbecue. I want to see the black flip.
Zig slaps the floor, runs in a circle, pretends to dance with a lady. It's the most moved I think I've ever been.
Oh, man. No, but his butt did look good.
Yeah, he looks good. I was just like, oh, come on, Zig.
Come through.
I just felt like he was interpreted dancing as a tree when he's swaying.
Yeah,
It's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that one move where he was like pushing at the ground. Like,
Yeah.
he like runs and then stops and then pushes at the ground. It was very strange.
It was very serious.
Very.
Miles approaches Tristan after his student council meeting. They discuss his mom's Evite. Miles says he doesn't have to come since he clearly doesn't want to. Tristan expects an apology, but Tristan called Miles a man whore, which he then doubles down on.
Mm-hmm.
Typical Tristan, insulting people in a fit of rage, and then expecting an apology.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I love that this is so high school because Miles thinks that they obviously broke up, whereas Tristan's like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean come back to me, huh? Like, y'all just talk.
But
just have a
honestly, when is Tristan? Tristan needs to get called out eventually, because so what? He's been like biphobic. Now he's slut shaming. Like he's doing all these.
He's so
the
problematic.
worst. He's the fucking worst.
That's why I'm never Team Tristan. I'm not Team Tristan.
I've never liked him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was also. I don't blame him as much. He wasn't really transphobic, but he was kind of transphobic with Adam in The Next Generation.
Oh.
Not really, though, because he just wasn't into him, but still. Like, they set them up just because. And, and Adam was not gay. Adam was into women, so it was a whole different thing. But still. But he has a problematic past and present, and it's just sometimes I'm just like, ugh.
And probably future.
Hopefully, because I'd love to call him out some more.
I don't know. I just liked our first glimpse of Tristan when he was like, he was going to come to junior high or whatever, and he like swirls around in the office chair and is like, hey.
Yeah. Oh my God. He was fat Tristan.
His intro was great.
I know y'all love fat Tristan.
Me too.
I also wanted to because again, it's my first time on the podcast.
We're taking your virginity.
I just love, like how devoted Degrassi is to their student government. Like this room has the screen with student council like emblazoned on it. Like this is their room, as if it's not a high school where you would just go to like an open classroom to have your meetings or whatever. Like it's so crazy.
Oh shit! Sorry, I'm moving things.
But also, I was like really intrigued by like Miles in this scene because I've literally done this arrangement before with a boyfriend, or at least proposed it, where I was like, listen, if you were upset with something like sexually that's going on, if you need some time to go and like work your shit out and come back, like fine, let me know.
Right, because Miles says he can't unsleep with those people. He insists that
with
Tristan
those girls,
Jesse.
He insists that Tristan go sleep with some guys and come back to him. Tristan is confused. Come back to you? Miles says he wants to be with him, that it was Tristan who keeps running away over his number. Tristan wants to mean more than his other conquests. And Miles tells him to come to the party.
Yay!
I don't know. Go sleep with some guys and then come back to me.
Wait, what?
Well, I mean, I'll point this out specifically, like with an ex of mine. So, like I have like tried all the different positions and things. Like I've topped and I've bottomed and whatever. And at the end of the day, I enjoy topping more. I don't really enjoy bottoming, especially at this point in my life anymore. So when I'm in relationships, like that's strictly what I want to do. I had an ex who had never topped before. And he had asked me if I would, and I was like, well, I love you, so if, like, you really, like, want to try it, I will, like, we can work that out. But he didn't like my tone about it, because I was like, well, I'm not going to be enthusiastic about something I don't want to do.
Right.
Like, but I'm telling you, like, if you want. But I'm like, So it became a point of contention, and I was like, listen, like, if you really, like, if this is gonna bother you, if you want to take a break so you can go and fuck some people and feel it and see how you like it, we can do that, you know? Which he acted like was absurd and then cheated on me because...
Anyways.
Which was the funny part is I was like... And then he came back and said, well, you said I could go... No, I said I asked you if you wanted to and you told me that I was being terrible.
Right.
So I was like, that's not the same thing. You weren't given permission. And I'm like, you
Right.
could have had it really easily. You could have just
Right.
said, hey, I've thought about it and I do want to do that. And I'd be like, fine. Which when he finally told me, I was like, so do you feel better?
Right.
And he was like, no. And I'm like, well, that's a waste then. Like, yeah, it's legitimate. Like, because I was just like, listen, I can give you what I can give you in this. If you are not liking the idea of it, then we can, like, you can go, I'm allowing you, you know,
Yeah.
it's fine. Go sow your oats and then
In that booty hole.
like, go have a cum springer and then come see me again.
Okay, we need to turn that into a meme somehow.
What?
A cum springer.
Hashtag cum springer.
What is that? I don't get it.
Rum
Rum
springer.
springer, you know, the that's for Amish.
Yeah.
Amish, like when Amish boys get to leave and
Oh.
go into like the regular world for a while to see it
Oh.
and then come back.
Oh, I guess I didn't watch it. What was that show? There was a reality show with like,
Breaking Amish.
yes.
That's
It's
right.
one of my favorites.
Oh my god, so much reality TV to consume. No, but
I'm
that's
pretty
good,
sure
though.
it's on Hulu.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, it's good. They are so weird.
Oh my God, I make this guy that I made watch wrestling. I also made him watch 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. He's getting very into it, so thank God. Paul.
Did you show him the episode where Paul runs into the forest? 'Cause
Yes,
That's like the best
yes,
episode.
No, we've already gotten through season 1, so yes, he saw that. Oh
Okay.
my God, Paul. Anyway,
I've only got through season 1 and then I kind of dropped off because they were really long episodes.
I feel like season 2
I
is
don't
even
know.
better. I just like because there's Angela who's like 52
Yeah.
and Southern, and she goes to Nigeria, and Amelia would always say like, Carly, this is your future, and I was like, shut up, shut up. Say it isn't so,
Jesus.
but it might be. You never know.
Isn't that what what's her name
Alright.
did?
Who?
Darcy, didn't she go to Africa?
No, Wait. Oh, you're talking about Degrassi?
Yeah.
There's also a woman named Darcy on. I was like, Darcy went to
No.
Amsterdam.
No, Degrassi Darcy.
My bad. Did she? I don't remember.
I don't
She went to
remember,
Africa.
I'm gonna take. Yeah, I'm still missing bits of Degrassi that I need to watch. So. Sorry. Okay, so now where are we?
We're back at the audition.
Oh yeah.
Zig completes his performance with a backflip into a floor spin, and I am dazzled.
Yes.
The judges aren't as
was I.
impressed.
No.
That was really something.
Like, ooh.
All they want is a peek at the goods. They ask him to strip down, but he's not wearing any underwear. They say it's okay, they're not shy. She tells him that they're selling an experience, which confuses Zig so much that he just complies and pulls down his pants. This is some sex trafficking, right?
I know. I was like, can I try this on a Tinder date? And you're like, I'm here for an experience. Can you just take your pants off? Like right as I'm meeting them.
So he
So honestly,
starts...
that's what I'm gonna change my like Grindr profile to say. I'm here for an experience.
Show me the goods.
I'm not shy.
He starts to ask about costumes, which she replies that they're usually firemen or cops. He finally puts 2 and 2 together. This is a male stripper audition. He yanks up his pants and runs off.
So I have a lot of things to say about this scene. First off, the flip was amazing.
If only it was
second-
really good.
Where'd he come from, like, doing just a weird, like, hands in front of face move to just a backflip?
To a backflip, listen, Esme is a good teacher, I guess.
I guess.
Right?
But first off, let me just say this. This is not how you audition to become a stripper, number one. You know what they do?
you
They
tried?
have amateur nights where you can go and just like perform at the club on an amateur night, and if you're good, then they'll bring you back. But then you also have to go and blow the owner in the back. That's how it works at all of them. There is not a panel of judges for you at an audition for these things.
But this is Canada, Lyndon. You don't know how
Maybe it's
things are
different,
in
but I'm just thinking,
Canada.
like, what were they thinking watching him? Why didn't they stop him
Right.
when he brought in, like, this whole thing? They didn't stop him.
They've
and
got
say,
all the
like,
time in the
sir, this
world."
is not necessary. Like, they could have said that. They could have said all of that, but instead they sat there, watched him do an interpretive dance when all they wanted was some, like, hip thrusting. And why did he not wear underwear? Like, if you're going for a dance audition, you're like you're trying to keep all that shit
Right,
together.
so you're
Right.
imagining his dick was just hitting his sweatpants.
Because he's
Every
in
move,
sweats.
like-
It would be like
you're
flying all over the place.
See that long dick, right? Like,
So I was like, the whole scene, like, I just wrote down, like, most absurd scene. Because it was, like, the whole thing. I
that's
was
true.
like,
Dancers,
what is happening?
Dancers wear dance belts
They
for
do.
a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's to keep all that shit, like, looking uniform.
Like a
and,
Ken doll.
And not like anything. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's to make it a Ken doll. Like,
And he was just out there like dick flapping in the
flapping,
breeze.
booty popping. Like,
But and weirdly, I bet that was probably their favorite part was they were like, "Oh, look at that dick." Okay. Wow. That little slut.
sorry, that was
Have you
all the things I
auditioned to be a
said.
stripper before?
I have not, but I
You know
am
people?
aware of it.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, because the Lucky Horseshoe, our local terrible go-go bar, has like they have amateur nights.
I've never been.
You've never been?
God.
They have a liquid brunch on Sundays.
There's no food?
Sorry,
Damn.
it's a liquid brunch.
You know I won't
I'm
be there.
pretty sure that's against health code to have go-go boys and like food.
Don't like most strip clubs have hot wings?
But it's like there's like a buffet to the side, so I think
okay.
that's
Yeah.
different.
Oh, okay. Well, I would go for the buffet.
But there is no kitchen. There's no kitchen in the Lucky Horseshoe. I don't think that they're eating there.
I would go for the buffet and the buffet.
They're
You got to take me there next time, Carl.
maybe
will.
maybe it's different now. It's not great there. It's not like there usually are like 2 or 3 guys that look really good, but the rest don't look great. I've heard.
I've never seen a male stripper. I think like Alyssa loves the movie Magic Mike, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just like,
I mean, Magic Mike was good, but no, I when I used to sell sex toys, I did a party, and it was this girl's birthday, and they were having a stripper come afterwards, and I was like, "Oh, like, do you mind if I stay?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." So I stayed for this male stripper, and it was the weirdest fucking thing. I don't know if this was
it
like
seems like it'd be weird.
this was the thing. I don't know if this was some sort of like this guy was cheaper, and it was fucking weird because the guy I think it was for the birthday girl. This is where I was like, I'm like, y'all are breaking some codes because I feel like this is not okay. He pulled the birthday girl's pants down, put saran wrap on her butt, put a banana
What?
between her butt cheeks, and whipped cream, and then
What?
ate it out of her butt. Yeah, and I was like, I feel like this is not up to code.
Wait, her bare butt?
No, like he put saran wrap on it.
No, but I'm saying it was bare before the saran wrap.
Yes.
oh my
Yes.
god!
I was like, he like put like I think the one girl was wearing pants, but he like put a little vibrator on the outside of her pants. I was like, I don't think that this is what we're supposed to be doing. I was like, can you just dance in your little cowboy hat? Because like I'm upset. I mean, did he have one of like the biggest dicks I've ever seen? Yes. And I did take some videos because he said it was okay.
Hashtag Drake, I'm upset.
I was upset. I was like, I am so fucking confused right now. This is so
That's how I
weird.
feel like I'd be at any strip show. I'd just be like, I don't
Yeah.
know how to feel right now.
Well,
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
weird. The
This is
birthday
a
girl,
private thing.
The birthday girl, like afterwards, looked like upset. Like I
Yeah,
was like,
I would
don't-
be.
I don't think she liked that. I figured we all assumed he would dance and maybe like a chair dance or something like that.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be like pulling these girls up and like pulling their pants down
Yeah.
and eating a banana out of their butt. Like
That's weird.
And I was like, this is fucking weird.
Well, to be fair, at the Lucky Horseshoe, it's like not even a strip club. Like they're already undressed, basically. Like they're just like they can't be fully naked. They
Right.
can be in like a jock strap. Like that's it.
Right.
Like in New Hampshire, the laws are like they have to wear nipple caps. You have to wear, I think, underwear and nipple caps. It's like not full nudes.
Live free or die. What the fuck?
Except for if you're a woman.
Free the nipple.
Yeah, free the nipple.
All right, so Maya's in the stew, and she's spending her working hours watching videos of VJ's cover song when the Peter Stone, former meth head, walks in. He needs to make sure that she has the level set for the sweet reggae section.
The Canadian reggae. It's like, oh my God. Okay, anyways.
He returns her golden slipper and mentions that he knows she's been avoiding him.
Okay, I'm sorry. He returns her shoe. He could have just left it in the studio.
Well, then anybody could have taken it.
Okay, all right.
True.
Ooh, one
It was
shoe.
a nice shoe.
This is actually just the shoe, the one I needed. Just the one. Yeah, okay, anyways.
He goes to leave when she asks if her songs are any good. He thinks they're amazing.
Right.
Especially that one where she's like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, exactly.
She asks why VJ is so much more popular than she is when he's not even a good singer and all he does are covers. Peter calls him unique and full of joy.
Don't you just want to watch him? Gay?
The gay community.
So VJ's got that it factor.
Does he though?
Apparently.
He's got like those 80s laser back screen like that you wanted when you were, getting your picture taken in the 80s. Yeah, that's what his background, and I guess he looks like he's full of joy.
That means he bought a green screen. He's committed.
Yeah,
okay.
True. I don't even have a green screen. Come on. I just got a skeleton screen.
No.
I have one.
Oh. And you've got a black background too.
I do.
Nice.
I've got a little thing because I have my whole little like photo shoot set up. So I've got a green screen, a black one, and a white one.
Ooh.
What kind of green screens do you do? What kind of backgrounds do
I
you
haven't done anything. I don't know how to do that.
You should put yourself like on a pyramid. I'm in the jungle.
It's gonna be my whole. This is gonna be my whole new set of thirst trap photos.
I'm in front of the Eiffel Tower naked.
I'm going to have to teach you how to green screen.
Yeah,
I wanna see
Okay,
this.
yeah, I'd love to learn.
So, Peter goes on to give her a pep talk. She's got a voice and a vision. She'll get signed and he won't, just doing covers. Granted, Carly Rae Jepsen went from doing covers to smashing records with Call Me Maybe. So he... Oh, sorry. So he...
You cool.
God damn it. So he could potentially get a deal in the future with the right song. So she should play nice with him just in case he does.
I'm just like, she wishes she could be Carly Rae. I'm like, okay, Maya.
You can't be Carly Joe Gear.
I know.
Yeah.
I just think Peter is really easy to impress.
I think so too.
She's amazing. He's amazing. They're both like mediocre.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, listen, he was the lead singer of the Stoods, and he was not great.
But you guys, when you're a white person, it's not that hard to be amazing. Am I right? Jesse, look at us.
Just say that you are. And
Look at us, a couple of mediocre white women talking about Degrassi.
We had like 600 listens. We are killing it.
Yes! We're so good.
So Miles prints in his selfie cam as Hunter mocks him for being nervous. In walks Mother Hollingsworth, Frankie, VJ, Yael, and Boz. The entire party.
Woo!
Hunter greets them with a simple, hey. And VJ is like, that's all you have to say? Boz makes a joke, don't make him angry, which causes Yael to give him the side eye. Too soon, Boz.
Right? But Boz, why are you so stupid?
Yael and Hunter give each other a low-key eyes. They all agree to a magic tournament.
Nice.
Tristan shows up and Miles apologizes for trying to have sex with him without talking about it first. They start to talk, but it's really awkward. Tristan explains that he's not he's not an all the way version, but he's afraid it'll hurt. So Tristan's a bottom, right?
I know, that was the thing, and I was just like screaming at the screen, yes, a lot.
Maybe what it is that he knows that Miles's booty hole is so tight and his dick is so big that it's gonna hurt his dick to squish into that little booty hole.
Oh
And
God!
he's concerned it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably, because, I mean, we just don't know exactly what Miles' total experience is, because I can't assume that he didn't get pegged by any of these women that he was with, so who knows what either of their experience
I
levels
could see
are.
Esme being into
Yeah,
that.
honestly
absolutely.
though. Honestly though.
Absolutely, Esme's a pegger.
Oh, yes, she would be. That was honestly probably Zig's biggest reason why he didn't want to be with her. He's like, it's just I keep getting pegged. And he's like, I mean, it feels good, but like, isn't that weird? Like, that should have been a storyline. That's how Miles discovered. Yeah, Miles is totally into it. Zig was like, shouldn't I be weird about this? But I like
It's
it.
like, I'm just gonna write into Degrassi, like, listen, y'all have gone there pretty far, but you haven't gone far enough.
Kids are pagan all the time.
Esme whips out a huge dildo. Buckle up, boys.
She's like, it's fine, I brought poppers.
Oh God!
I have 12 years of pegging experience.
So Miles tells Tristan that the list of people he's been in love with is much shorter than the list of who he slept with.
Aww.
Tristan says he loves him too. Then they start a fake fight so they can leave the party and go get it on.
How dare you? How dare you?
I also want to point out here that when they all like turn to look at them as they're leaving, they went to the table to have a magic tournament, but there is way too much shit on that table for them to act. They're holding cards in their hands, but there's no cards on the table. They're pretending, and it's very obvious to me, like, as somebody who is... I tried to do magic and was not good at it. But I play Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And you need room. Like, even those that are less complicated than Magic, you need like a full space in front of you.
You definitely
but
have to...
There's like burgers and like plates, and they have like a tiny amount of room in front of them.
Right.
But they're holding cards. I'm like, no, this is a lie. This is farce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lyndon was really taken out of the entire episode once he saw that.
I was like, wait, what?
I bet these actors aren't even really gay.
Yeah, my boyfriend plays Magic, and he tries to get me to play, and every time I get really anxious, and I'm just like, this is too many things to pay attention to. I'm so confused.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's hard.
VJ turns the camera on himself and tells it that Maya still won't let him use her song. However, she was down to write a song with him and help him record it. Maya says she had fun writing. Now let's rock.
Y'all realize she's wearing the same shirt as the previous scene, so she, in that one day, was
Wrote
like,
a whole song.
yeah, was like, okay, you're right. I'm gonna go talk to VJ, get him on board, write a song with him, get the studio time, and then get down there and record it. And it's all happened in like an afternoon, I assume, because she was at the studio after school, right? Mm-hmm. And then she went and did this. What time is it?
I'm telling you, Degrassi exists outside of time.
It's
True.
Because sometimes, like, they'll cut between these scenes. I'm like, did this like sit down dinner happen between a day of school? What's happening? Like, people have come and gone. Like, it's just like none of it ever. Like, when you really look at it, I'm just like, when is this? What's happening? How many days have gone by?
Right? They have, what is it? Like, is there a time stone? Degrassi has the time stone. Oh, God.
Principal Simpson, I've come to bargain.
Oh, God.
So VJ sounds much better in the song that was written just for him, and Peter loves it. Maya humble brags that she wrote the song in just a couple hours, which impresses Peter.
No big.
He wants her to join some writing sessions. And then VJ sings, show me, show me, show me. All right, I'm gonna
You're like,
that.
stop me. Somebody get the taking me off stage. Oh, my God.
So, yeah.
I had it down and I thought I wrote it like phonetically, but now that I'm reading it, I'm like, I forget the tune. It's just show me.
But it was, yeah, that was so interesting. Also, it's really bizarre to me that she had this, awakening on how to treat him, but did not realize that she also needs to let him repost the cover of her song that he paid to be able to do.
Get that extra $2, you dumb bitch.
Like, it doesn't make sense. He, literally, she has no ground to stand on to tell him he can't post it. So I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And also, the song, I don't have the lyrics in front of me, but as I was listening and watching the lyrics on, because I have the subtitles on too, it was a very Taylor Swift-esque song too. She's he's talking about,
you got
the sleeve tattoos. It was literally I'm like, I think this is just.
And I've got those red lips. I was like, I think this short is skirt.
Yeah, I'm like, I think this is just style, but with different lyrics.
Yeah,
but okay.
It pretty much was.
Tristan and Miles walk hand in hand down the hallway, and Miles kisses him goodbye as he enters the gym. Miles is spotted by Winston and Zoe. They question whether or not they banged. Miles says they had a nice talk. Winston says that he didn't deny that they had sex, but Miles doesn't kiss and tell. Weirdo Winston asks Zoe if they can kiss and not tell.
Hey!
And yet another of her disgusted glances at him.
Right.
I also want to give a shout out to Winston and all his cute H&M shirts that he's always wearing.
He's so cute.
Literally, I have one that he was wearing in an earlier scene. There's the one with just the multicolor splotches, the white one with multicolored. It's like a cow, but in a bunch of colors. I have that one. They're cute. I think Winston's cute.
I love Winston. I mean, you've listened to the podcast. You know my love for Winston.
I'm always like, oh. The goat? I'm like, come on.
Right? But what? Just,
oh, yeah,
melt
I forgot
your
about
heart.
the goat. Grace and Tiny anxiously await Zig at his locker. They have a present for him. A leopard thong.
Okay, the way it was hanging off the locker, I was like, at first, is this a dick in a box? What is that? Did they put a dildo on the locker and then put a box around it? Because it was just, floating on the locker, but...
Right.
That thong.
They think the fact that he went all the way naked for a job is hilarious. Zig threatens to try it on when Esme rolls up and says it's not up to the school dress code.
Got him again.
Again, just he is unbuckling his pants. I was like, well, okay. And it didn't even, I guess he's supposed to be joking, but it didn't seem like he was joking.
He was going to do it.
And I'm like, you'd have to take off, I guess you're not wearing underwear, so it'd be quick, but you have to take your pants off, and you have to take your shoes, your pants, and then put this thong on. I'm like, okay, Zig. I mean, I wouldn't complain, but I'd be like, let's go to the bathroom real quick first.
So he explains it was a stripper audition, which disappoints Esme. He worked really hard. But if he wants to join her dance troupe, he should let her know. He doesn't even have to get naked for the audition. So Esme is back. Mm-hmm. And that's the end of the episode.
So one question that I had was, Tiny auditioned too, so what did he do?
He said he was going to, but did he? I guess.
Don't know.
Or did he figure it out before he went to the audition and then realized and didn't? Because I'm like, well, you still got to go to science camp or whatever. So what are you doing?
Whip that dick
I
out.
bet he went for. I bet he's like, we'll find out later. He actually just did it.
Right. He's a stripper now.
That would be hilarious. He's like, oh no, I mean, I'm doing it. I was making fun of you, but I need to go. I need to go to this camp.
He's like, my new name is Biggie.
I also want to give a shout out to Zig's super hot lip smack that he does. When I forget what part it is, but it's funny because it's in the subtitles, and he just does a when he's explaining how the thing went, and it's just and I was like, okay, he's got such an expressive face.
Yeah.
That he does.
And an expressive dance.
And did y'all notice Grace's face at the end of this when Esme?
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out.
They zoom in on her face.
I know that Grace, it was implied that she has a crush on him and everything, but it was What was that? Was that face of like? I honestly couldn't figure out what she was trying to.
I thought
portray
it kind
or
of
convey.
looked like concern.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. The thing with her is that you have to remember that when she confessed that she had a crush on him, it was before he cheated. It was before he cheated on Maya, so now she's conflicted because she, like, thinks he's bad, but she's being nice to him again now. But she's like, I kind of want to go for it, but I also don't want to because you did this to Maya. But now she sees, like, another girl encroaching, so she's like, her face was kind of like of interest, but also kind of worry, like she's apprehensive. I don't know. There was like it was very complicated kind of face.
Yeah, I had a hard time reading it. And then she like starts laughing because they throw the thong at her or whatever.
Yeah, that dance so scandalous, another Zigga can handle this. So.
Zygmunt. My theme was you've got to strip down to get vulnerable.
Perfect.
My themes are always the best.
I didn't have a theme at all.
I was gonna say for a theme, it was just like about getting out of your comfort zones in a way, like making yourself more vulnerable, because obviously the sex one is pretty straightforward, but also like Zig, like learning to dance, like admitting that he needs to learn, and then going into this situation where he's literally having to take his clothes off. Maya having to admit that, like, even if she's talented, like, that's not enough for her to, to make it, and having to, work with another artist, which, again, you guys have brought this up before, that she's, like, she's, like, singer-songwriter, but she's just with a band, but, like, they don't even have a name. They're not, like, it's about
Maya's
her.
band.
It's about her and her career. And so she's having to step out and acknowledge, like, another artist. So it's like, I was, like, seeing a theme of coming out of your, stepping out of your comfort zones.
That's good. That's a lot better than mine.
I didn't have one at all, so...
So, the fact that I'm turning in something, I did the assignment. Jesse didn't.
Listen, I took notes.
That's true.
I took hosting notes, which are more difficult.
They are. They're way more difficult. I was like, this is easy. Let me just write down my jokes. So rad.
So thanks for coming on. Do you have any social media you want to plug?
Yes. So I have an Instagram, which is at Lyndon, which is LYNDOLYNDON. So that's on Instagram. You can find me on most other things that way, except on Twitter, because that's a different guy named Lyndon who lives in, like, South Africa or something. He took it before I could get it.
Bitch.
But that's my Instagram. That's really my only prominent social media that I will share on this podcast anyway.
Okay.
It's a good time, y'all.
I have some other not safe for work ones, but those you can find those if you are
Finsta? Your mom found it.
No, she actually didn't. She found my regular one, which I had liked a porn star on. So she just saw things that I had liked and got scandalized, but she did not find the other one, which was good. So I was like, I'm gonna block her just in case.
Just in case. Oh man, blocking your own mother.
It has to be done sometimes.
You can follow us across social media at A Social Disease. We're not very good at saying that at the end.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say Carly doesn't have anything to follow.
No.
You need to get an Instagram or a Twitter or something.
You can follow I'm with a new acting group called Fat Folks. You could follow that'll give you some information on like shows I'm doing and stuff. But it's not me specifically. Unfortunately. I know. I need to get I'm just afraid of people that I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of a flame war, and I'm not ready for it. I'm very fragile.
Yeah.
I like the fact that, when I post on Facebook, the only people seeing it are people I know.
Yeah.
And I'm scared of you people out there. I don't want to know what you really think of me.
Listen, as long as they like and subscribe, that's all you need.
Yeah.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Jessay, which is Jessay. And all I do on there is talk about things like Big Brother, Vanderpump Rules, and occasionally yell at people for being conservative.
Yeah.
Or Instagram at Monday Night Roar, which is RAWR.
Yes.
And don't forget to subscribe and rate us on iTunes.
Please.
We have like a good rating. We have one-star rating, and I don't know who that is.
A troll.
They didn't leave a like blurb or anything.
I can't believe we have a troll.
1 star. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, fuck that guy.
That's a miserable person. That's what that is.
But yeah, so after you're doing all that, gear up for our next episode, which we'll be talking about Season 2, Episode 9, hashtag, These Are My Confessions.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. And once again, we're your hosts, Jesse Mack.
And Carly Jo Gear.
And this has been a social disease podcast.
Thanks for listening.